Welcome to Outside the Ring. I am your host Marika Taylor, and joining us today is Keith Kizer from the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Hi everybody, I'm Keith Kizer. Great to be here. I will be signing autographs later.
Anyway, why did you go on the radio and trash Chael?
Because I was angry that he lied under oath at the December 2, 2010 California State Athletic hearing. And he is prettier than me. He said that he spoke to me about testosterone replacement therapy in 2008 when I have never spoken to him in my life.
Were you at the hearing?
No, but Josh Gross emailed me during the hearing and asked me if I had ever spoken to Chael or his manager Matt Lindland about testosterone replacement therapy.
And what did you say?
I told him that I never spoke to either of them in my life.
Have you ever read the transcripts from the hearing or watched any of the video from the hearing?
No, I have not.
So how do you know what Chael said at the hearing?
Josh Gross told me what he said.
And you believe everything Josh Gross says?
Yes, because he is a journalist and what he reports is always accurate.
Are you aware that Chael made it very clear at the hearing that it was actually his manager Matt Lindland that spoke to you directly, and that he believed Matt Lindland had properly disclosed his use of testosterone replacement therapy to you?
I heard he said that he spoke to me directly, and that is not true.
If you watch the video, the commissioner asked Chael who spoke to you, and Chael clearly said it was his manager who spoke to you.
I don't believe you.
You do not have to believe me. The transcripts from the hearing and the video from the hearing are very clear. There's no ambiguity.
Chael Sonnen is a liar.
Why?
Because he said he spoke to me and I have never talked to him in my life.
But the transcripts and the video from the hearing clearly show that he says he did not speak to you directly, but that his manager did.
Chael is a liar anyway, and I will never license him or let him be a coach on the Ultimate Fighter TV show.
I don't understand. There is obviously a misunderstanding. Have you ever tried to clear this up with Chael?
No, I thought it would be better to go on the radio and make fun of Chael's medical condition and say he lied under oath and imply that he is a liar and a fraud.
Didn't you have a meeting with Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta, Chael and his manager Matt Lindland, where they tried to sort this out with you before asking you for a license so he can be on the Ultimate Fighter?
Yes, but I don't care. I told them I will never license Chael and my state of Nevada.
But why not? He had served his suspension for not filing his paperwork correctly in California.
Because I don't like him and I believe he's a liar and takes steroids.
Why would you think that?
Because Josh Gross said so on the Jim Rome show.
Wait, he said what? That's crazy. Chael was never accused of taking steroids. George Dodd told the press he knew about Chael's use of testosterone replacement therapy, and that Chael told him about it again before the Anderson Silva fight, the biggest fight of his career.
But Josh Gross said Chael popped for steroids.
And you believe that?
Yes.
Why?
Because Josh Gross is a journalist and is never inaccurate or unfair in his reporting, and he's my buddy.
So you get all of your information from Josh Gross?
Yes, me and everybody else. Whatever Josh prints or says is gospel.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many times has Chael fought in Nevada under your jurisdiction?
4 times.
And has he ever had anything unusual with his test results?
No. But Chael Sonnen is a liar and a fraud, and I don't like him.
Yes, you have made your feelings about Chael very well known, but have you ever looked at the test results from the California fight?
No, but I don't have to because I have nothing to do with California. I am on the Nevada Commission.
Are you aware that initially, after Chael's California test results came back with elevated levels of testosterone due to Chael's testosterone replacement therapy, the California Commission suspended Chael for a year?
Yes. Chael used steroids and he was suspended for a year. Chael is a fraud and I do not like him.
Actually, the California Commission admitted that the test was inconclusive and that it didn't show that Chael used steroids at all. In the end, the commission shortened the suspension down to 6 months because they claimed he did not disclose his medical use exemption properly.
I don't care. Chael is a liar and a fraud.
Okay, now is it true you originally told everyone you have never spoken to either Chael Sonnen or Matt Lindland about testosterone replacement therapy in 2008 before Chael Sonnen fight?
Yes, but at the private meeting when I told everyone I would never ever license Chael or let him be on the Ultimate Fighter, I realized that I did remember talking to Matt Lindland about testosterone replacement therapy before a Chael Sonnen fight back in 2008.
What made you remember all of a sudden?
You know the answer to that.
Yes, I do. I was at the new hearing on May 18, 2011 that took place after you called up the California State Athletic Commission and told them to pull an indefinite suspension out of their asses. I was there when you answered this question under oath.
Then why are you asking me again if you already know the answer?
I am asking you again because the press didn't pay attention to this enormous detail. After all, the whole reason why the new suspension happened is because you believed Chael lied under oath and said he spoke to you directly about testosterone replacement therapy.
But that's not the only reason. Chael is also a convicted felon.
I will get to that in a minute, but could you please answer my question?
What was the question? All I know is that Chael is a liar and a fraud and a convicted felon.
My question was, what made you remember all of a sudden that you did indeed speak to Matt Lindland in 2008 about testosterone replacement therapy?
I remembered when they showed me phone records.
So let me get this straight. You got hysterical and blasted Chael on the radio and claimed you never spoke to Chael or Lindland, but then when you were faced with phone records you remembered. So does that make you a liar?
No. Chael is the liar and a fraud.
So let me understand this correctly. Do you think you would have remembered talking to Lindland if they didn't show you phone records?
No, I wouldn't have remembered. I only remembered when Matt Lindland reminded me and found out that there was phone records.
I see.
But I never told Lindland not to disclose the medical use exemption again. That part I know for sure.
How are you so sure?
Because Josh Cross told me.
What?
Psych, ha 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 ha, gotcha, just kidding. Look, I know what I know. Okay? And all I know is that Chael is a liar. He is also a convicted felon and deserves to be punished by the athletic commissions in addition to the punishment he received for his heinous crime.
What was this crime?
Money laundering. This is a very serious felony and you can go to jail for up to 20 years when you are convicted, so this means Chael is a very bad guy.
Are you aware that a federal court judge presided over this case?
Yes, of course. What do you think I am? A moron. It was a felony conviction, so of course a federal court judge presided over the case.
Have you looked at the transcripts from the case? Were you at the hearing when the judge made his ruling?
No, of course not. I'm a commissioner in Nevada. I don't know anything about the court case in Oregon. I don't care. Chael is a convicted felon and it is my duty to cross state lines and tell the California State Athletic Commission how they should discipline their licensees. As you know, I do not like Chael and I have done interviews where I talk at length about how much I think he's not a good guy. I want to make sure Chael does not get to be a coach on The Ultimate Fighter or fight in Nevada, and I will go out of my way to let everyone know that I think Chael deserves to be suspended indefinitely and never fight again.
I see. Yes, you have made your feelings very public. And you seem to have a lot of influence on the California State Athletic Commission. But why didn't you just simply tell Dana White and everybody at the private meeting that you won't give him a license and just leave it at that?
Because there would have been too many questions. I would have had to justify my reasons for denying him a license, and my image is very important to me. I didn't want to look like a douchebag, so I called up California and got them to pull an indefinite suspension out of their asses. I then called up the media and told them I was very displeased with what happened at the meeting and that I wouldn't give Chael a license until he sorted out his problems in California.
But Chael didn't have any problems in California. He had served his suspension and was free to fight and coach on The Ultimate Fighter. He just had to ask you for a license.
Yes, I know, but there is something you obviously don't understand. I am a very powerful government official. I don't have to answer to anybody. And the press and the California State Athletic Commission are my little bitches. They do whatever I tell them to do.
I see. You are giving me a headache. Can we please get back to this felony conviction in Oregon?
Sure. What about it?
Are you aware that the federal court judge that presided over and knew all the facts of the case ruled in the end that Chael was not the architect of the real estate money laundering crime? Didn't Chael's attorneys offer the transcripts where the judge decided to just give Chael probation and a fine because his involvement in the crime was not only minor but nothing more than a mistake that was made during a real estate transaction? Do you realize that the only reason any of this came up is because the person Chael sold a house to decided to not pay his mortgage and ended up growing marijuana in the basement?
By the way, Please stop tweeting about me.
Not a chance, buddy.